Isn't an anime.
I know, but like if you're just this is my own opinion. If you're
Okay.
just basing it on the art style alone, then
You know what? I just realized
you're fine.
it's time for Kat Cafe.
I know it's just the after show, making sure everything's okay. Sadly, no
So you're
one's.
still doing that? Okay.
Yeah, it's the not the after show, the pre-show. The after show haven't even started. It's already an after show. Anyway, doesn't seem to be very lively, but never mind. Let us start anyway. So hello everyone and welcome to the Kat Cafe, a weekly podcast streamed live on Twitch, where we talk about lighthearted topics that'll make you scratch your head, or wherever you scratch. Today's topic is all about cultural differences, which is actually a topic suggested by Bama Baroff. And I have to thank him for today's topic. And now I think about it, it's actually a pretty interesting topic. We're not going to touch any controversial topics, but
I meant for like just simple stuff.
yeah, no, simple stuff. And it's actually pretty interesting because for those of you who don't know, I'm actually not from the USA. I live in the USA, but I'm not from here. And
He's from Taiwan.
No, I'm not gonna go into all that can of worms, but
No, I just said I just said a random place. I just like pulled a place out of a hat and said,
No, I
"Oh,
know.
he's from Taiwan."
No, I know. But I will say that it was pretty jarring being in a cultural change so drastically. Like my situation caused me to change cultures very quickly, and it was very jarring when I got here. It was interesting and it was very educational. I will say though, it was a very interesting and very good change. But I do realize there's a lot of difference in cultures. So I got here Squeebers as well, who is someone who hasn't been on the podcast in a while. It's great to have you back, Squeebers.
Hello.
Yeah. So
Glad that whoever bought you from Russia as a mail order bride did so, because now you're here.
oh no. Don't tell them about my dark past. Oh no. Anyway, so let's get right into it. With the first question I have to tell
It's
you.
been so long since I've heard those words.
Let's get right. No, I'm just kidding. No, we're not touching that. Anyway,
Let's get right into the news.
so I'm sure you were both from the same place. You were both from the south.
Racist.
I am
that racist?
offended.
How is that racist? I don't know.
I
Anyway,
am from the east south. Thank you very much.
oh, I'm
From the
sorry.
Deep South.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
You could say south, and I would go, "Yeah, I'm from the south." I wear that on my sleeve.
So I would say probably what is one of the biggest things you think is different from other countries from the USA? Like, what would you say something that's super different? Food? Interesting.
One word:
Food.
Constitution.
That's a little bit political. We're not gonna touch that one. Sorry.
I
didn't you
was
hear it?
invested.
What's that?
Well, I think immediately about all those posts that Furry Scout puts on like Facebook and Instagram and all that. He's always showing
Wait,
off food.
you still use
Malaysia.
Facebook?
Yeah, I'm one of them damn normies. But he's
No, I didn't
always
mean
showing
that. I
off
don't use
food.
Facebook.
He's always showing off foods from Malaysia and Penang and Kuala.
Oh yeah.
Man,
Sometimes he shows them on
Even if
Instagram
it's
too.
something very basic, like he could just be showing like this new Western style cafe that sells cheeseburgers and fries, but
Yeah.
the cheeseburger will be like
Use
an
this simple
open
American
top.
dish.
It'll be like an open top slab of steak with melted white cheddar and all these psychotic spices and like a leaf sticking out of the top. And that's what their idea of a Western themed cheeseburger is.
That's their
A
idea.
different kind of Western. Because there's like two different Westerns. There's Western relative to them, and then there's Western as in Western continentally.
Well, I mean Western on like a geopolitical scale. There's the Western countries and the Eastern
Ah,
countries.
right.
Yeah,
I wasn't thinking.
No,
But
I know exactly
it
what you're
also
talking about though.
applies to
What a
American
fancy
foods.
burger.
If you were to go to like a Chinese restaurant in the States, you're not getting Chinese food. You're getting what we think Chinese food looks like.
Yeah.
Actually, I remember there was like a weird conversation I heard about that. It was altered on once it was like food like that is altered that way it can fit American palates. Because if I'm not mistaken, at, either at one point, at some point in China or some, ate dogs.
Oh, I mean, yeah, but I'm not talking
Reavers,
about.
you better watch out.
As an American, I demand extreme flavors and lots of sauce.
What I mean
You're a
more is
delicacy,
like,
Sweeps.
I mean more is like routine stuff that you see in the countries that, when you think about it, they seem commonplace in some countries, but aren't so commonplace in other countries. For example, where I'm from, there's a lot like, you can literally go anywhere you want, and you'll probably see some sort of kiosk or like a food truck, or I mean, food trucks aren't that uncommon here either. There's a lot of food trucks here, but like say,
I've only seen one food truck where I live, and it's a local food truck.
no, I understand what you mean, but like literally, you can go anywhere, and like restaurants are very open, and like you see people eating out. Like you just like drive down the street, and you'll see a table with people eating next to a food truck or some sort of food establishment of some sort that isn't exactly a restaurant. Here, a lot
What
of
do you
people.
think that is? Different health and safety standards, cultural histories?
No, there's definitely a lot of health and safety standards. They're not exactly there just cause like you can't just pull
For
over a
example,
food
you
truck.
can't have rats in the food.
No, yeah, no. There's health standards. Like if the police sees you and you don't have a license, then yeah, you'll definitely get your food truck shut down. But like, it's I
Is the
guess
cops that cool? Act like a license plate.
no, I think it's more of a cultural thing because I see here, at least from my own experience, I'm not talking for the entire United States, but a lot of people eat inside of like a big brand restaurant. Like you don't see too many
Barbarians.
no, I mean like for example, you wouldn't exactly see too many big brand fast foods where I was from. You would just see a lot of local or singly owned food trucks or something. Like it wasn't like a big brand of food truck. It was like Juan's food truck or Jose's food truck or whatever. I'm not saying stereotypical names. Those are actually names I saw and stuff.
To be fair, where you're from, no one really has much of a choice but to be local.
But what?
What?
Oh,
Put out there,
oh,
Sweeps, at the end.
but to be alone. Okay, yeah, that's what you said.
Ah, there we go.
I mean, yeah, but I just noticed that here, you know, hanging, you know, people where places hang out and stuff. There are a lot more big brand, big name places than back home. I didn't notice that.
Hey, tell some of them to come my way, because I need a place to go on the weekend.
Yeah, but I mean, like for example, like back home, you say you want to go out the weekend. Oh yeah, let's go to say John's bar or whatever, or let's go to such and such places, whatever it was.
As much as I wish I could say I have that,
Using more stereotypical racist names.
No.
as much as I wish I could say that there are places like that here, there isn't. Like,
Yeah,
there's
so-
there's almost no locally owned places
No,
over here.
yeah, I know. I just like that was a big difference. I'm not trying to say stereotypical names, by the way. It's just like, you know, it's been.
Was that true everywhere down there, or was it just in the countryside? Like, if you went to the big cities?
No. Yeah,
were there still lots of small.
Yeah, no.
Pretty sure.
Especially.
I'm pretty sure me and Kat both are in cities.
No, I think he's talking about, yeah, because like one of the biggest places in Puerto Rico is San Juan, and that's literally like local city. Everything is local there. There's a few stuff, like obviously there's a few shops, and it's a tourist
Wait,
place.
you were talking about back in Puerto Rico, not
Yeah.
where you are now.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about where
No,
you are
you're
now.
fine,
I'm like,
you're
oh
fine.
well.
But yeah, back in Puerto Rico, like San Juan has a lot of big brand, because of course it's a tourist town. It's gonna have like big brand clothing shops and big brand restaurants and blah 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 blah, fancy stuff for people with a lot of money. But there's like they're right next to locally owned businesses, and they're still like in the same building and stuff. So if you wanted to go to Antonio's bar or something, like it was literally right next to the Ben and Jerry's. Like you didn't have to go too far. It was an interesting
Now
mix.
that's a business I'd lick.
Okay. Sound effects not necessary.
Yeah, sound effects are always necessary.
No.
That's just an interesting thought for me, because thinking about big cities up here, you know, for us damn colonials, all of the big cities, more or less, are just exercises in consumerism. Everything's advertised, everything's made with name recognition. You want something that's small, local, homegrown, hole in the wall kind of place. You pretty much have to know a guy, otherwise you're not going to find it. But in Puerto Rico, you just walk down the street and there's a whole line of various trucks and vans and foods and stalls.
Yeah, and hole in the wall. That's a commonplace. That's everywhere. That's like you can't walk 3 feet without seeing one or seeing some sort of interesting business. And the funny thing is, like, they're.
Real quick, I would like to apologize for that.
Oh no, you're fine, man.
I moved my computer onto a desk that's right next to my door, so if anyone happens to come through that door and tell me something, it's gonna be like right next to me, so it's gonna come through crystal clear.
It's fine. I can just cut it out in editing. But yeah, no,
His
that's.
dog put her head under his hand for a stroke, and he got distracted.
What?
What is going on here?
Sound effect hour with the Three Stooges.
I don't know what's going on.
I demand to be Mo.
Oh my god. Please, no eye touching. No eye poking, please. Yeah, but that's something very different when I got here. When I first got here, like, back home, you wanted to hang out, you didn't even have to go too far. You just, like, walk out of your house and you found a place somewhere, like, maybe 15, 20 minutes away. But here, if you want to hang out, you have to have, like, a certain place that you know is okay. And it has to be a certain location that everyone can get to and everyone lives so far away. Sorry?
Inquire. That's exactly how I feel. It's like you can't go anywhere without feeling like you're taking up space.
No, I mean, just saying, like,
you can go. That's allowed.
Yeah, and you have to be
you can't
careful.
even hang out in a parking lot without having the cops called on you saying that you're loitering.
Yeah, that's true. That's something really big here, which surprised me a lot. I didn't even know loitering was a thing, to be honest.
It's not that common where I am, but I've seen it at least once. And I'm like, oh, well, that sucks. You can't even just hang out in an empty parking lot.
No, yeah. How would you guys?
Like even in the States, that's also a cultural thing, because sure, we've got the United States culture at large, our basic set of values, but different
all sorts of
areas,
subsets.
Different areas of the States have different values as well. Like if you go through New Orleans, I mean, it's only just next door to me, and it's
all
as you
gumbo
say,
and swamp boats and alligators.
It is lots of that, lots of boomhauer, but it's just all hole in the. Every time you walk down a street, there's a place you've never heard of, and this is the only business in the world like it.
Yeah.
Even though it is a massive city, and then over here in Mississippi, that's how much of it is here. It's all just small town. I mean, obviously there's like Gulfport and Jackson and whatever major cities, but
yeah, if I
honestly, I kind of wish I was in a small town.
Honestly, I need to ask though, like, if you have a friend that wants to hang out, what do you guys do? Like, how do you hang out? As alien as that sounds.
You've been with me, so you know how.
Yeah, I know, but
I function with that. It's like there's nowhere to go, so you just go home or go eat and then go home.
No, yeah.
Presuming I have friends.
True. That's something very different here. Like back home, at least. And I don't mean to sound depressing or anything. It's just I'm just sharing my own experience from like changing cultures. But at least back home. But at least back home, like here, people are friendly though.
Is a designated location for people to go where they cannot get in trouble for being there for too long.
Yeah, I mean we had like
profit
the comic
and run
shop.
by the government.
No, we had like the comic
shop
and stuff.
In the South, that's what I was saying with like regional cultural differences in the States. Like, I can't really speak much for the West, but I did live in Maryland, and I know it was quite different up there. But down here, it's very common for just people to have their cars parked up in like the Walmart parking lot, to drive down the street and just see some kids sitting on the trunk of a car, like in a big parking like Barnes and Noble or whatever,
like the movies.
On the side of the road
That must be a Mississippi thing, because I don't see that a lot. But then again, I don't live in the countryside.
Over here, no one cares about loitering. It's so far below anyone's priorities. My mom used to tell me stories about when she was younger living here, where she would go down to the beach, 16 years old, and they'd all be drinking, smoking, listening to music, and the cops would come and just be like, "Hey, what are y'all doing? Just hanging out. Are y'all drinking? No. Are you old enough to drink? No. Okay, well, just give me one of those beers, and you better not steal anything." And they just go, didn't care.
Yeah, it was much more.
Yeah, you're not old enough to drink and you're not drinking, but you got beer, so hand it over.
No, it's
just-
Coke disguised
They
as
didn't
beer. We
care.
want to be cool.
It was just a small community, small
Yeah.
town issues. No one really cared. Just it's part of the culture. Everyone's friendly.
Honestly,
least in the
yeah, that's how it was back home too. Like, yeah, I wouldn't
Put it
say.
real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'll go ahead then. Okay. Sorry, I'm
No, go
No,
ahead.
you hang up first.
haphazard.
No, you hang
Okay.
up first.
Okay. I have my thoughts. So, I probably mentioned this before,
Mhm.
but have you guys heard of that game called Ingress? That ARG that's like uses Google Maps as a base.
No, actually.
Feel free to look it up. But
Okay.
it's basically you go to landmarks that are marked on the map. There.
You have to like figure
it's
out where. It's from.
all in the game, but you actually have to go there in real life to go
Oh, that's cool. It's like a little Pokemon Go.
there first.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So Pokemon Go is like Ingress, but anyways.
Yeah, it's
It's
like
A
Pokegress.
ton of people fell in love with that game when it came out in the first version.
Oh, okay.
It recently updated to a second version, basically,
Yeah.
where like everything's changed
Oh.
when life was created.
The fire division attacked.
People would like go to places like the Civic Center, which is where like all the shows and
Yeah.
stuff that like basically the
Civic centers. Okay, I'm sorry.
first house is like right next door.
Can I
But real
just
quick,
can I just add a
people
comment?
would like go there.
Oh,
Sure,
sorry.
go ahead.
So I was gonna add a comment. That was a big thing for me. I had no idea what civic centers were. I was like,
I
what is?
still don't know what civic centers are.
Yeah, that was baffling to me. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
It's weird because it's common knowledge for me, but anyways.
Yeah.
Like people would go to places like civic centers and parking lots, and like they would just sit there. They would pull up in a parking space, be doing their thing on their phone, and they'd sit there. But that freaks out the people in the buildings.
Why?
They're like, this car just pulled up. They're not getting out. They're doing stuff. I don't know what they're doing. Call the cops. It's called on
Why?
them. And because it's just freaky, I guess. Like you can't even stop in a parking lot and do nothing.
No. That's
Hold on,
weird.
Even when you're not outside of the car or doing anything, you're just sitting there.
That's weird. We would just call that hanging out, or a couple.
In reality,
or a
it
very
was
happy couple.
harmless, and I'm pretty sure no one got arrested for it, unless they were trespassing. That's understandable.
Well, that's just a happy couple. You leave them alone.
If they're trespassing in private property, yeah, that's understandable. But
Oh, I
like
mean,
when
yeah,
you're in a grocery store, it's like they got called. They had the cops calling on them, and I'm pretty sure no one got arrested.
Well, we
But
had
then there's another thing.
places
We
for
played
that.
the game
Actually.
too and used their power to threaten people.
Okay.
Some of them, not all of them. There was like very few cops, but still.
Cops over here hate Pokemon Go for that exact reason.
No, they got in trouble for one guy got in trouble for getting caught playing Ingress because someone told the superior. It was common knowledge to people who knew him that knew him in the game that he was a cop. So they found his superior and let him know, and he got in trouble for it. I'm pretty sure he got fired.
Was it a Karen?
No, it wasn't a Karen.
Speak to your
It was a guy.
I'm sorry.
It was like legitimate concerns because he was like making jokes, but he wasn't that.
Yeah.
From what my parents said, because they played that game and they loved it.
Yeah, I understand. I don't know.
But anyway,
back home we had places.
it's like a
Sorry.
whole thing.
Well, back home we had places for that. I mean, we would like natural places that we would just leave alone for that exact spot. It's like they're pieces of nature that were left alone for people to hang out in. Like you would just like, oh, let's go to the woods, or let's go to El Yunque. Like you would just go there.
Let's go hang out at the old oak tree. Or
No, yeah,
go down
yeah.
to the lake
Well,
or the
here-
pond.
Yeah, no, we had like actual places.
But you kind of feel weird going there and not playing any of the sports there. Like you don't go in the building where the gigantic pool is because that's used for something else. You don't want to play tennis because it's
Oh, we just go there.
150 degrees outside. But it's like there's nowhere to. It's not really. There's anywhere to walk and sit. It's just like it's
Yeah.
an outdoor gym with multiple buildings being the rooms.
Yeah. Oh, one of the best. I remember. We had places like that. What I was saying, like, it's so weird to me that you guys like don't have I know you have like parks and stuff, but you don't have like a place where like all the kids go in nature to hang out. I know it sounds weird, but you know what I'm talking about. We just like go out on our bikes and we just like run around.
It's kind of different in a city.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess that's true.
In a city.
That is
like,
true. I haven't been.
Countrysides, I'm pretty sure that's
common.
a place.
Yeah. I mean, that's true.
There's this one place nearby where some family lives, and like that is definitely a small town. There are definitely places you can go.
Yeah.
Official.
No, I get what
down
you mean.
here, what place like or places like that would be like we've got our beach, you know,
Creek.
the entire road, the entire main highway through town just follows the beach all the way through Mississippi. And
Oh, that's
then
gotta be cool.
north.
That's a lucky thing. You in Mississippi, you got a
all
beach.
The kids go out to you know, just mud riding, going on the forest trails, and I've got a friend that lives outside of Vegas, and their thing is the desert. Every weekend, there's parties all over the desert. You just drive out there, find a bonfire, and hang out at the party.
Okay, you know what?
Oh,
That
that's
actually sounds
cool.
kind of cool.
Yeah, no, I would love that. That would sound really cool.
Here where I am, there's only like this one corner where
Yeah.
there's any sort of beach, and it's a 3-hour drive.
Oh yeah, I remember one of the things that baffled me too. The terrain in the USA, at least where I have been, it's so flat and yeah. Back home we have we have mountains. We don't have.
There are some hills.
No, but
they're not pronounced.
No, but I mean like
They're
back home we have mountains like tall boys, cloud touching boys, skyscraper, natural
we
skyscraper.
got mountains. I mean, just go a little ways up north, you find Mount Everest. I mean, come on.
Wait, what?
Not Mount Everest. Sorry, I got that wrong. I'm sorry. I told you last time I'm an uncultured swine. I know nothing.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, go on up to Tennessee and visit Mount Fuji.
Go and grab the water gun from Discord's new emojis and shoot me with it.
Oh my god, no. No, but one of the funny thing is like we live in the mountains, and living in mountains, yes, we have very
Uncultured swine. Sorry.
no, you're fine. But we have very, very inclined roads that you look at the road and you look like you stare at it and you're like, a car can climb up this vertically? Like we have those kind of roads.
Kind of road that a guy in an old standard pickup truck pulls up to and goes, I think I'll take the long way around.
Yeah, those kinds of like inclines. Like just walking them seems like a challenge. And the funny thing is, we have people who live on those roads. We have people who have houses perched up on the cliffside, and you look at the structure that holds up the house, and you're like, if that one stick breaks, the entire house goes down that cliff. Like we have those kinds of houses. So you can imagine how funny it was when I saw everything flat. They're like, wow. I was like, these houses are
You see all
very...
these houses down on the beach with their 20-foot pillars underneath, and you're like, why? There are no hills for hundreds of miles. Why are you up on stilts?
Yeah, no, seriously, I was like that. But no, but you would be like that. I mean, if you looked, well, I need to see if I can find a picture of them. I probably won't because they're super rare and I don't know what they're called.
But
if
real quick, when you are Kat, you're near the ocean, and
yes,
there's not a lot of
but I'm like
all areas.
It looks near to the ocean, but it's like pretty far. Where I'm from right now, it's a little
like
far.
state-wise.
Yeah. No, yeah. It's close to the beach. But I mean, if you saw the houses I was talking about, you'll be like, why the heck are you building?
Yeah, I know
here?
what you're talking about. Yeah. I don't know why they're up so high up either.
No, but I mean, like, they're like literally on the edge of death, and they live on the edge of death. You ever heard?
I thought you were talking about.
They're literally living on the edge.
But I do kind of know what you're talking about. I thought you were talking about the houses near where you are now.
No, I'm talking about like back home. They're literally living on the edge.
You know, thinking more about, I guess the cultural difference in the South was, because I do live in a small town, pretty much halfway between nowhere and nowhere else, but it's not a super long drive to get to a major city.
You're not in, where was that? I heard a joke. There's nothing in this one state, but I can't remember what the state was.
Almost certainly Mississippi. But I mean, you can drive an hour.
It was like one other place, but
in
never
a
mind.
major town. But since we do live in such a small oceanside town, we've got Old Town, and every weekend there's something there. Car shows, pub crawls, festivals, concerts, contests.
Oh, that's
That's it.
cool.
I'm packing my bags. I'm moving to Mississippi.
Like, Old Town is
There's
great.
much more stuff going
Every
on
second
there.
Saturday of each month, the entire Main Street Old Town area shuts down.
Yeah.
And it's just like tents and music on every street corner and free food.
Sounds a lot better than what my town does. It's
Oh,
it's
yeah,
actually
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
similar, but like what my town does, it's literally just travel.
Yeah. That's the
It
thing, though.
sucks.
You guys, at least here, you guys
And,
like. if
one
some-
time,
Oh, sorry.
they had
Oh, welcome
fake
back,
snow.
Sonic.
That's it. That was like the main attraction. It was just like this pitiful pile of snow or ice. I don't know.
Yeah.
I forget what they were doing to make it, but it was like pitiful. But every kid in there was loving it because it's
Yeah.
winter. There's no snow, but now there's snow. It's impossible.
Oh yeah, the soap snow. I remember that.
I went soap snow. It was ice-ish. I think it was crushed ice that they were like piling into a pile.
Yeah. Welcome, Sonic Swag. Hopefully you're having a wonderful Friday. Welcome to the Kat Cafe. Hopefully
Just
you.
a Sonic wearing a gold chain.
Yeah. Glad to have you on. Yeah, but
Thinking
like.
about it, are cultural differences, I mean, obviously, based on what's
Yeah.
available to you, history, there will be changes, but
Oh no,
on a
yeah, definitely.
person to person, are there really that many differences? Like, do kids in Puerto Rico entertain themselves really that differently to kids in Mississippi, to kids in Nevada, to kids in Malaysia? You're still just going out, hanging out with friends, exploring, finding whatever locally there is to do, walk around.
Yeah, but
climb
it's
a tree,
probably a lot
fish.
harder in certain
No, yeah,
places than
definitely.
others.
Oh yeah. By the
Real quick,
Yeah, go ahead.
is like continue on with the subject that
Yeah.
well, I was gonna bring up something that was brought
Oh,
up
yeah.
in the conversation and go, hey, cultural differences might be a good Cat Cafe episode.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Before you go with that, I just wanted to say hello to Furry Scout as well. I'm glad to have you on. To all of you who are tuning in right now, what we are talking about are cultural differences. I am not from the USA. Oh, it's like 2:36 right now. Also, hi. Yeah. Well, we're glad to have you on, and please feel free to share. I can't get the word out. What the heck? Feel free to share whatever cultural differences you guys think you have to all of us. We love to hear from you.
Oh god, Furry's here, so that means I can't talk about him anymore?
He probably heard that, you know.
Damn it.
So sorry. I'm really sorry, Bam. I just wanted to get that out. So you were saying?
Oh, it's fine. So one of the things that was brought up in that conversation that made me think that this would be a Cat Cafe episode was the mentioning of those little pods that they use in Japan for people to sleep in.
Oh yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Complexes full of just those little tiny butter
Yeah.
cases.
Butter cases.
They are solid white. They are butter cases. Like, have you ever seen a wrapped up butter that's in like the little wrapping that they have
Yeah. I
sometimes?
know what you're talking about.
And just like just stick a pack of butter in, close the lid, and you're like, oh, I need butter. Like, grab it out.
Oh, oh
Block
no.
of butter.
One comes in with a giant knife. Hello. Oh no.
I don't know why that.
Like
was not
Furry
a
says.
knife.
Furry says, like those time capsule ones.
Just like the really small ones. Like, oh, like, does that count as hotels?
Wait, hold up. Now that I think about it, aren't all beds time capsules? Because you sleep in a bed and you time travel to the next morning.
Get out.
Big brain time.
The Illuminati has been confirmed. And stay right where you are.
Oh no, FBI open up. But think about it, all beds are time
But actually,
capsules.
so weird. I saw a picture of Jamestown
Yeah.
I almost said ancient American history. I don't know why. From American history, and it was a triangle. I'm like, oh.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well then.
Little interesting fact. Puerto Rico has a peak of the Bermuda Triangle inside the island, and I actually used to live technically inside of the Bermuda Triangle.
How did you escape?
Nice.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
No, yeah, like the actual. There's a little bit of landmass that's actually inside the Bermuda Triangle. I used to live inside that landmass. It was interesting when I found out. I was like, oh, I'm inside the Matrix.
Cat when he's in the Bermuda
Thinking
Triangle.
about-
I'm in.
I'm in.
Thinking about those Japanese capsule hotels, though.
Yeah.
I wonder if those are something born of necessity rather than anything culturally related, because that I know.
Furry
of.
asks if he found his airplane in. If you found his airplane in the Bermuda Triangle. Cat.
No, don't say that. No, that's dark.
Okay, so I wasn't paying attention. What did he say?
Oh no, I'm not gonna get into that. That's way too dark. Furry, how
At least
could-
tell me what he said so I can know. So I can know what the topic was.
A Malaysian airplane disappeared in the Bermuda Triangle and they never found it. Oh no, that's dark.
Oh, I thought you were talking about what Squeever said.
Oh
It
no.
was at Puerto Rico the whole time.
Oh no, that's dark. No, don't say that. That's dark. I
That's why
should...
PR's population is so high. Everything that gets lost in the triangle just ends up there.
Oh no, wait. I think I. Is the stream still going? I think it cut out a little bit.
Not going as far as I can see.
Oh, okay, must have been my end. Told me it was still buffering.
Okay, so Furry, not Furry. Squeebers, what were you saying about the necessity thing?
Yeah.
I was
Well,
interested about that, but I wasn't paying attention.
I wonder how much of the capsule hotels in Japan are born of necessity because of the population, rather than it being a cultural thing. Like, culturally, do they like sleeping in bread boxes?
Actually,
Or-
I've heard, if I'm not mistaken, right? If I'm not mistaken, I've heard that Japan's population has sadly started to decline. So I don't think so. I wouldn't say it's that.
Well, hey, at least people will be able to have more than one kid. I think I heard something about that.
Shush, you shush.
No, but seriously, no, that's actually something I need to remember now because now I'm curious. It was. I'm making sure I had that right.
Yeah, there's something about sadly, relationships have not been faring well in Japan, so it's caused a bit of a population decline. But I think they're working on
Oh,
that.
I have answered that right here in my packet of answers.
I like how you have an actual box next to you.
Don't I smack my desk?
Oh.
I just smacked the desk. Just like I have a box of answers.
I can't understand you.
But seriously, like I've actually heard
There's a Kat
like,
Kafé
one
turned
thing
into.
about Kat Kafé comedy hour with.
Oh my god. Yeah, basically.
Guys,
Oh, you're cutting out a little bit.
Kat Cafe comedy hour.
Yeah. Cat comedy.
But
Basically.
comedy spelled with a K.
Basically.
Oh no! Think about it. Think about it.
What? No.
I'll show you. I'll show you in the
Oh.
chat real quick.
Yeah, sorry, I have to. Whoa, someone blew up. So Furry Scout says we actually have this kind of hotel here in Penang called Container Hotel. That sounds dark. Let me check it
Wait,
out.
what? The what hotel?
He apparently called. Oh yeah,
The
yeah.
Container Hotel.
The funny thing is, it's called the Container Hotel, and the website is. It looks like it's a storage unit, which I guess it technically is. It looks like a storage unit. What the heck? That's an actual hotel, Furry? And you've been there before? It looks like a storage unit, like those public storage units you see.
Wouldn't that be funny if that was their actual purpose? They're just storing people in boxes, and they end up in another time period 10 years later, but they're none the wiser.
Grandma, that's where you've been. I stored Grandma away. Oh no.
The joke about Walt Disney's head being cryogenically frozen.
Oh gosh. Sweetie, you here?
Well,
I'm just
that was an actual theory that was going around.
about to throw my tablet out the window. It's being very problematic.
Oh, that's fine. We're just glad to have you here. So,
Hooray, I'm wanted.
so yeah, so Furry, that's an actual hotel. You've been there before? What's it like? If you can tell us, of course.
We should make an extra space and let Furry in.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
4 people. Let's do this.
Do you want?
Rack 'em up.
Would you like to join the cafe, Furry? We'd love to have your opinion on this subject specifically, if you can, of
No
course.
furries allowed.
Oh my God. Bam! I just saw what you put in the open cafe. No.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say earlier. Just like
No.
I made a mistake.
Oh no.
I was like, I made a mistake, and I
Well, no one knows, so we're good.
resist.
So yeah, Furry, if you'd like to, we can probably open up the space for you if you are available. He's probably at work or something, so I don't wanna. I don't
Oh, yeah,
wanna
good
just push
point.
him in.
I was not like.
No, I mean that's up to him, really. So yeah, I mean,
Real quick,
This is
this is
interesting.
actually just something interesting I found out while I was in this paper. I was trying to. This I thought it would be interesting to hear real quick.
oh yeah, go ahead.
There is
There's a.
actually a way for
Oh,
Room for one more.
to generalize
Hello.
further than continents.
okay.
You can include Africa and
The
Europe
world.
all in one big group, and it's called Afro-Eurasia.
Sounds like a bad haircut.
And then, of course, the Americas is combined into one. So it's like you can just get very
Yeah, the
general
Americas.
with some of these.
Yeah, I've heard of the Americas before. So, hello, Furry Scout. We're glad to have you on. How are you?
Hey, just decided to stop by.
Yeah, it's glad to have you on actually, and especially for this topic. So yeah.
Yes, tell us more about your tiger bread.
Oh no, not the tiger bread.
Yeah, I'm skipping that.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here laughing like a madman right now.
So we actually had a very interesting question about your container hotel, which I'm looking at right now. So yeah, have you been there to the container hotel, or have you not?
I've been to the cafe.
Oh,
the
give me 1
cafe-
second. Sorry.
Yeah, sure.
Try speaking now.
Hello.
There we go. Got you loud and clear.
So I've
Hello,
been
Michael.
To I've been to the cafe before, and it's really spacious.
Oh, it's a cafe.
As for- there
He
is
said there was a
cafe
cafe.
and a
He said there
hotel.
was a cafe. It's both.
Like there's a container cafe and a container hotel.
Oh, I see.
Is
I
a
see.
container cafe just in a giant shipping container?
Oh, thank you so much, Toxic Star. Chiz.
Something like that.
What
Yeah,
was
something
right?
Like that. Yeah, they are like kind of like shipping containers and wooden pallets and those kind of stuff you
Wow.
can imagine.
So they kind of went full hog on the.
Yeah,
We
they went
actually
full
had a
on
guy-
the thing with it.
I'm sorry?
We had a guy from New York who came down and bought the old skating rink here in town a few years
Oh.
ago. And he was turning it into a container cafe. He had all these big metal shipping containers shipped in.
Actually, close to me.
obviously.
And I might be revealing
And
my.
he was turning each one into a little like cafe hangout spot where you could get food. There would be like sitting areas, pillows.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Because
design.
You say there's nothing to do in Mississippi.
Yeah, I've seen that there's a lot of design lately, at least here in the U.S., where there's a lot of like these Sealand containers that just like take them and do stuff with them. It's really interesting, actually.
Minimalism is the new hotness.
Yeah, but I mean, one thing's minimalism and one thing is like industrialism. It's
I do like industrial.
it's an interesting combination of the two, honestly.
I was
I
just
love-
looking
my
up
favorite-
the,
my favorite
the
ism is
capsule hotels
capitalism.
in Japan,
Sorry.
and
That was a mess. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have talked over Squeebers.
I don't see how the capsule hotels in Japan are efficient.
Oh,
Oh, sorry.
The pricing of them, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, the idea of them is you're just paying to sleep, so you just, for whatever reason, you need to sleep there for the night, and that's all you're paying for. That
Squeebers.
average prices
Squeebers.
seem.
Right. Hang on a second, Squeebers.
No
You
one's
think
saying
think
it.
about this for a second. That does not seem lucrative when we literally have hotels here in the U.S. That is
We
literally
do,
the same thing, just more
but-
luxurious.
The whole point of the
Room
capsule
instead of a capsule.
hotels is that you're paying a low price just to sleep for the night, but their
Well, it
average
is a lower
prices
price.
range $18 to $36 US. Or you can just, like in the States, or at least down here, any random hotel in town, you'll spend $18 to $36 for a night, and they come with a big old bed, TV, little mini bar, fridge,
True. I wouldn't think about that.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
true.
I'd get the capsule hotels if it was just like $5 just to rent the bed for the night. But if you're paying the same price you'll pay to stay in just a random hotel.
They actually have full-on hotels in Japan, though, because then it might just come down to a people prefer to live in a smaller confined space.
Well, let's think about it this way
That's what
though.
I'm wondering as well. Is it just necessity because there's so many people they have to just stack it up in as little space as possible?
Well, think about it this way though. Aren't motels kind of the same way? Yeah, I know motels are kind of like more. I know they're
Luxurious.
more. They're bigger. Let's put it this way. But
Well.
I guess it's the same sense. It's the same mentalism. Mentalism. What? It's the same mental state as motels, where there's more people.
it's a new ism.
Yeah, it's a lower budget kind of stay in I guess. So yes, motels have kind of like this more. It's more cheaper than it is useful, I guess. So I guess they kind of have the same mentality with that, but it is more private, I guess. It is a different.
Yes, so.
It's a different mental process, and I'm sure like different countries have like different places to stay. I mean, I know some countries have like beds on the floor and stuff, which I guess Japan, I believe, is one where there are futons, which are floor. Sorry, you were saying first?
You're random.
Yeah, just your random buzz. Yeah, but like futons.
You're a random walkie-talkie, like.
Yeah, and to
they're on the
anyone,
west.
and to anyone in the chat, please feel free to correct me or anything. Feel free to mention anything that I'm wrong about. I would love for you to correct me, and we'd love to know more about the subject, including those on YouTube as well. Well, I understand motels are for other things, Michael, but usually they're for people with low budgets and people who just need to stay the night. And for example, here in the US, there are a lot of truck stops as well. You don't, at least not in Puerto Rico, you don't see a lot of truck stops as well because you just don't see trucks as often. Usually, you know, a state can be as big as a country. For example, some countries in Europe are smaller than some states in the US. So, you know, different countries, different necessities, different people, different thought process. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I
See,
wonder if
like,
the
the reason I
price
mentioned-
of the capsule hotels is designed in some way to prevent people from living there.
What do you mean living there?
Well, obviously,
I
if
mean,
it was too cheap,
it's the size of a
there were
postage
people
stamp.
who would just spend the $5 a night and just make that their home.
Oh, yeah, I understand what you mean. Kind of like saving on rent.
Yeah, but if the price for
Oh,
a tiny
gosh.
little capsule is about the same what you would spend, at least in the States, for a motel for a night,
Yeah.
then it's just more efficient to rent an apartment if you want to do it for long periods.
Yeah, Furry, sorry, can I ask you to mute your mic when you're working on it? Because we got a really loud noise over here. Sorry about that.
Is it? You guys can actually pick up?
Yeah, when you're working on your headset or something, can you please mute your mic? Sorry about that.
No, I didn't use
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
on my mic.
Yeah, no, that's
My
fine.
bad.
That's fine, that's fine. So, I mean, at
Real
least...
quick, I wanted to say this before we moved on. I don't know if we're moving on yet.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
I mentioned the preference thing because I've actually,
The preference thing?
like, people just prefer to live in a smaller space.
Oh, yeah.
Not live, sleep in a smaller space because
Yeah.
I've actually taken to using like a 7-pound weighted blanket.
No, that's true, actually, because...
Like, is it similar to that? Like, people just need a smaller space to feel comfortable, just like how people need a weighted blanket to be comfortable in bed.
Well, yeah, that's more personal preference. I did notice, though, that usually people in Puerto Rico do tend to live in smaller houses than people in the US. Like, your house, I've been to your house, Bama, and it's way bigger. It's way bigger than any house you would see in Puerto Rico. I was like, whoa, this is a lot of space. I mean, I guess, true, there are different social ranks or whatever, but I did notice that usually people here...
I mean, I'm middle class, so
Yeah,
at
but...
least I think I'm middle class. I don't know. I
Yeah.
honestly don't keep track of the classes. From the rumors I hear, the middle class is about to be destroyed.
Well, yeah, but I do notice that people in Puerto Rico tend to live in smaller houses, and I'm sure other countries have that too. I'm not sure if, like... I've noticed that where I
There's
am...
probably Yeah.
Yeah.
There's probably many reasons. Like there's it could be multiple reasons and maybe multiple reasons that actually apply.
Yeah. Something that really interests me as well, there's a lot of apartment complexes here. Like there's a lot of like buildings are just apartment complexes compared to Puerto Rico. And I'm sure do you guys in Malaysia have a lot of apartment complexes, Furry, or do you have more of a individual kind of house or things?
Definitely, we have more apartments because in the
Apartment complexes are not fun. I've lived in one.
Well, yeah.
because imagine like Penang Island is kind of like Hawaii.
Oh.
We're basically an island and we
Brag about it.
Space.
You're cutting up a little bit, Furry. I'm sorry.
Is it really?
A little bit. Sorry.
Okay, so what do you guys heard from my end?
So we heard that you would think of Malaysia as kind of like Hawaii in a sense, where you are right now, at least Penang. Oh, he's gone. Sorry about
our friend and
wishes.
dog, Furry Scout, is dead.
Public development here is in the island, so most of the time you will see those low. We call it like the B40 class, the bottom 40 class, which is usually the low income ones.
Oh, I understand.
They more often stay in flats or sometimes even villages.
Oh, okay, interesting. So you guys have more of a village complex to your living situation? I say living situation.
We're slowly
like
getting more and more develop into like more. Despite being saying that there are complex for low cost units, low medium cost, and affordable housing, which is an initiative by the state government.
Yes.
They are starting to make it more and more seemingly luxurious.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's that. I've been to one of them, which is at the. One of the one is currently still ongoing is in Batu Ferringhi, which is one of the tourism.
Furry, you're kind of like fading in the background. It's like fading into obscurity. I'm sorry.
Is it really?
A little bit. It's a funny fade. You just kind of fade away into nothingness.
So Batu Ferringhi is one of the places you expect to go for beaches and resorts and all that. And yeah, you expect to see kind of like those very high end beach views and all that. True, and affordable housing, which
wow.
This one is only apply for the locals. For the price itself is around 300,000 ringgit, which
I believe
about 75,000 US dollars.
Oh,
it's like $5 in a fried chicken in the US.
Wow. Sorry to interrupt you. Okay, so Michael says here in Portugal, here in Portugal, it's kind of 50-50. Some places we have individual houses and apartments. I live in a village. What is the individual houses? Oh, individual houses. I mean, like you have like your house or your apartment or whatever is not connected to a building. It's not like one big building with a lot of spaces. Like when I mean individual buildings, I mean like you have your own separate building that is not connected to anything else.
So are you talking like rentals or privately owned houses?
I need a actually need a definition on the village
like
thing.
Sorry, you guys are talked over each other.
Sorry. I was.
You were saying?
Go ahead, Furry.
I believe it's more like the structure itself. Some of them we have flats. We call it flats or apartments. Flats. Then there's some of them are terrace.
Terrace.
Basically just terrace houses. TRRACE. Which basically is kind of like instead of tall is long.
Long boy.
Yeah, it's a long housey boys.
Oh yes, I know exactly.
Is
what you're
the
talking about.
longest boy.
So we would probably call those like shotgun houses here, where it's just basically a long hallway and all of them are all for that hall.
Interesting. I actually never
I, on
knew
the
about that.
contrary, have actually heard of tiny houses, and they're like,
Oh, I mean, tiny houses are their own thing. I don't
I don't
think
know how
that.
to.
I don't think that's a cultural
But they
thing.
were
I
the
think.
same thing. That's why I mentioned them.
Actually, would that be considered a cultural thing? Because I mean, tiny houses. I don't think I've heard of many countries other than the U.S. doing tiny houses, to my knowledge.
I feel like that's more
I
of
mean,
just
do you
a
consider
minimalist
like?
hipster kind of thing.
Yeah. You were saying first?
I mean, what about the hobby houses in New Zealand?
Oh, true, true.
Oh, but that'd be so awesome, though.
I'm not that tiny. That'd be
Well, I mean,
cool.
like, you could
Actually,
also live in a hobbit hole, like at least
Yeah.
one that's your size. Like, think about it. You
Yeah.
live out in the field all on your own, and someone comes by, but they just speed on past. They don't even pay attention to the random hole in the
Come
ground.
move on adventure with me. We need to destroy the ring.
Occasionally, the Dark Lord
Just like-
Sauron comes through.
No, like that sounds ideal for me. It's just like I live in a little hobbit hole in the ground. I'm like, oh, someone's on my road again. Oh, they're passing.
No,
Good, they don't
Kat.
see me.
This is more or less just supposition, but from what I've seen of southern countries, Mexico and Ecuador and all those Central American, not
Mhm.
so much the far, far south, because I don't really know anyone.
Yeah.
But it feels like, compared to the US, they don't have as high a priority on luxury as we do up here in the
That is kind of
Like-
true.
I feel like in Puerto Rico and Mexico and those other countries, it's not that they're just trying to exist, like it's some horrible living circumstance, but they don't want, you know, a 12,000 square foot pseudo mansion with a quarter-mile driveway and huge, beautiful kitchen with granite countertops. They just want a place where they can be, their family can be, where they can have
Yeah.
memories and play music.
No, and definitely we have that problem is actually pretty common in Puerto Rico because we don't really have the space. We either have like if you want a big house like that, you have to have the money to dig out the mountain and the area and prepare the terrain and everything. Like it's a costly expense. Usually what you see are like houses that are stacked on the side of mountains like some sort of weird Mario staircase. But but yeah,
So I
usually
guess in a way that could be a cultural
Oh no, yeah,
difference,
definitely.
just in that in the US, because I guess of how prosperous our economy is, the people then get to enjoy luxuries that countries that don't have as big of as an economy.
No, yeah, like it's
They
not
just want to flex their flex how rich they are.
basically.
I'm just saying, the US is pretty great. Everyone come.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
I
that,
think because of a lot of countries actually prefer to look like things are just kind of low end, but still everything in the interior side, everything would be more all sufficient for family.
yeah.
Mainly because they don't want to make them look like a target to others. Like, oh, this guy is rich. We should.
That is very true.
Became a target to kind of like thieves, burglars, and so on.
Yeah, that's
I
very
guess it also
true.
helps that the United States is absolutely massive, so we can afford the space of
No,
spreading
and
out and having big houses and lots of
no, and a lot of your terrain is flat, which is actually very beneficial to you guys. You don't have to worry about like mountains or terrain settling. Like I'm sure you have to do a little bit of terraforming eventually, but it's not as big a problem as other places or countries where you have like lots of
Because
mountains.
I'm also go on.
No, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I'm also thinking of when you were talking about digging out mountains in Puerto Rico, because obviously the island is only so big, and there are a lot on that tiny little.
Yeah, there's a lot of mountains.
And I'm thinking of like in California, where just an acre of land in some parts can cost millions of dollars, just because there's so many people in such a small area that just to get a horrible little acre on the side of a hill, side of a mountain rather, it's going to cost you millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
But that's not because, oh, times are hard, it's just, there's nowhere to be, everything's just low quality, and it's still very high quality because of the limitations of space. And
Yeah. And I
I
mean,
can imagine if there were only 50 people living in Puerto Rico, each of them with massive houses, huge pieces of land.
yeah, and I won't lie though, like at least in Puerto Rico, no matter where you go, you're gonna have a good view. I won't lie. Like it's a little
Yeah, the southern countries are really good for that. I lived in Panama for a little while. And
Oh wow.
just it didn't matter where you went, it was beautiful. And that's how all the South appears to be. Chile, Brazil, everywhere looks nice down
Yeah.
there.
Sorry, I need to rechat real quick. And here in Portugal, we have something called IRU, which is some kind of corporation of the government that they make the houses rent like 14 euro, I believe that is, if I'm not mistaken. 14 euro. My grandmother pays 12 euro a month to live in her house. I don't know the euro conversion rate, so I'm not sure how much that would be. I'm sorry, Michael. I don't mean to make
Someone
you feel bad.
convert
$5
that.
and a chicken.
Yeah. Toxic star, bruh. I'm just sitting here
Oh,
over here
man.
as a fetus.
Man,
I mean,
you
that's
just-
fine.
Squeebers, you made a mistake. You made me hungry for some fried chicken.
Fried chicken is bad for you. Don't eat too much. I mean, toxic star. That's fine, honestly. As long the good thing is you have like a place to live, and as long as you feel okay and you're healthy in your house, that's fine. Honestly, we're just like saying like the difference between not living conditions, but like living spaces and stuff right now. But I think a big one we need to talk about, which I don't think we talk about much, is like, well, we did talk about, at least Puerto Rico have like plazas. I'm not sure. Does the U.S. have a lot of plazas? Like places like big central places in towns and cities.
Not really,
As
at
far
least not
as
in
I'm
my
aware,
experience.
the only
like in
thing that
New
would restrict the
Orleans.
place is
Guys,
the building codes.
you guys are talking over each other. Sorry.
That again happens a lot. But in New Orleans, the sort of area to be if you want to just hang out and walk around would be like the French Quarter and Bourbon Street. And then here in my little town of a couple thousand, it's old because that's where all the shops are, that's where all the cool restaurants are, that's where all the events happen.
Okay, interesting.
But there's no like New York Central Park kind of place in most cities, at least not ones I visited. They just have their own organic little areas that spring up that people tend to congregate.
That's true. Okay, so Michael converted it. So, okay, 14 euros is about $17. So your grandma pays around $15 a month for rent. I wish I had that number for rent. I would love to pay just $15 for rent. That would be amazing.
Doesn't sound nice.
Also, a big cultural difference I need to talk about is just how busy the U.S. is compared to other countries. Because, I mean, New York, the Big Apple.
New York,
Yeah, it's a busy.
city that never sleeps.
Yeah, it's a busy little bee. Like, New York streets are constantly full. I mean, I believe I talked to a few friends of mine who are Korean, and they told me that Korea was very busy as well. Like, it's not rare to bump someone and just keep on walking. Like, that's not rare, which is a bit jarring to me because where I'm from, usually, if you bump into someone, you need to like, dude, calm down. Like, don't bump into me. Like, look at me or look where you're walking kind of stuff. Like, hey, I'm walking here. But in places
See,
like...
that's almost a New York kind of attitude for it. In Mississippi, if you bump into someone, you then spend the next 15 minutes apologizing to each other and then the next 2 hours talking about your lives.
Yeah, I mean, kind of in Puerto Rico too. The funny thing is, like, in Puerto Rico, you can just talk to, like, if you're bored, you just walk up to whoever I mean, of course, with caution. You can't just walk up to whoever. But you're pretty highly likely to just walk up to whoever and end up with a new friend by the end of the day. We're not exactly super hostile. We can just talk to each other. And it's not rare to see a total stranger walk up to you in the restaurant or something to be like, hey, how's your day? And just like, well, talk like you're old friends, but you never knew each other. It's not exactly super uncommon. Not sure if it's
I
like...
choose to believe that's a small community trait that's universal because that's
true.
how it is here.
Yeah.
Where you can just, I've been in situations where I will be sitting in the Walmart parking lot talking to some random lady that was just parked next to me for hours. And I've got friends up in Wisconsin and Minnesota that will say the same thing where they'll just be going to the gun range or go to a restaurant or gun hunting and they'll just bump into someone and end up being best friends for a day.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem to happen so much in big cities.
Yeah, that's true. I guess it's more like individualism, I would say. Also, Furry, are you okay? Your microphone's kind of blowing everywhere.
I'm driving.
Oh. You're doing a podcast while driving. Interesting.
I'm
playing Tetris.
not connecting to the Bluetooth again.
Well, that would be interesting. Also, that is true though. Traffic here, people at least people driving here are not as crazy as back home. People here have they have rules,
Really?
Yeah, people back home will not follow any rules. It's a free for all. Good luck crossing the street.
Huh.
Yeah,
It's
no.
like a battle royale.
Oh
Instead.
no.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I guess it's more just like we are a bit more laid back compared to some stuff here in the US. Like when I got to the US, the police really do enforce the law. I'm not saying people don't enforce the law back in Puerto Rico, but it is a lot more strict here. Like laws are laws. Like if there's a law today that says you can't walk 3 feet without painting a green line, then you have to paint that green line. At least back home, you're like, oh, I took an extra step. Never mind, just paint the green line and keep going. But here it's like, no, you're going to jail now because you didn't paint the green line.
Yeah, the states have been getting really
You guys are
weird about
strict.
things like that recently.
You guys are like really strict.
Well, it's largely political grandstanding.
Oh yeah.
There'll be a dumb law that's introduced as a response to some dumb thing that happened, and then the dumb law has to be enforced, otherwise the opposition will say that the first party wasn't serious about it. It's just grandstanding nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true, but I don't want to get too into that. It's something I noticed, but I don't think it's not exactly bad. I mean, it's good that you guys are enforcing laws and stuff, and the police are
I mean,
actually
it
doing their job.
maintains order as
Yeah.
long as the government doesn't try to overreach too much. Like, obviously, there are certain things they have to be in control of.
Oh, no,
national
yeah, of
defense
course,
and things like that.
No, I'm
But
not
as
saying
long as
that.
they don't start trying to tell you, where you can go, when you can go there, what you can own, what you can't.
Yeah,
That's when it starts getting weird.
yeah, no, that's something that you don't see as much in Puerto Rico. That kind of stuff.
But I did have a question specifically for Kat and Furry.
Oh, go ahead.
Boy, this tablet's bright. Um,
My eyes.
I was thinking about it. Yeah, it suddenly got dark here. I realized it. I was thinking about it when we were talking about food earlier. I know that in a lot of Asian and Central and South American countries,
Mhm.
it's considered well-mannered that if you're at someone's house for dinner, let's say, you're expected to eat and then just leave. And then if you don't, it's
What?
sort of a passive way of you saying that you may not have eaten enough or you were displeased with the service.
Oh, wait, sorry.
Basically being a Karen and talking to the manager. That's just what I've heard before.
Wait, I'm sorry. You mean like go to someone's house, eat dinner, and then just immediately leave? That's what you're saying?
Like, I've heard before that in Asian and Central American countries, at least some of them,
Well,
if you're invited over to, say, a dinner party, go over, do whatever it is you're doing, you have dinner, and then after dinner, it was a lovely evening, thanks for having us, goodbye.
well, I mean, to a degree, depends. I mean, it depends on the relationship. If it's more of a professional thing, yeah. But if you're like good friends with the person, usually they'll invite you to do more stuff. But I mean, yes, you should leave if you're not invited to do more stuff. But if you're a good friend and you're just trying to have a lovely conversation, then yeah, you have the conversation. If they invite you to do more stuff, you do more stuff with them. Other than that, you go. But I wouldn't say
Because
like.
I was thinking a difference there, cultural.
We don't really do that much. Now I think about it.
In the U.S., especially though, if you go to someone's house and you eat, and then even if you had a great time, great conversation, you finish eating the dishes away, and then you're like, okay, it's nice, we'll see. That could be generally considered to be rude because it's thought you're only there for the food, there for the company.
Well, the thing is, yes, technically you are right. It is rude to just like stay around after you've eaten if that's what you're there for. But usually you aren't invited, at least not where I'm from. You're not exactly invited for food. You're invited to be company. Like, hey, let's hang out. You're not invited like, hey, have dinner with me. No, you're usually invited to let's hang around a while. Let's do a bunch of stuff. And you'll be around dinner time. So do you want dinner as well? Like usually it's bumped
And
in.
that's what I was wondering, because I'd heard that it was some Asian countries and some Central American countries. That's why I wanted to ask you and Furry about it.
Well, yes, but it's I mean, technically you're correct, but it's very rare that you're invited for just dinner alone. That's a rare thing to see. I'm not sure how it's in other countries.
Because here in the States, if you're invited for dinner, the host knows that means this is going to be a multi-hour event.
Oh no.
After dinner, we are going to be sitting around talking for ages. We're going to go.
No, usually that's not
Probably
very
need some
common. At least not where I'm from. Also, Creeper All Man in the chat. Oh no. Here we go again,
Get
boys.
out.
Aw,
Also,
here we go again.
Toxic Star says, "Bruh, I'm in New Mexico. It's IRL Mario Kart." Tan, 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 tarata, 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 tarata. I got Superstar Saga.
See, over
So-
here, I've got the problem that everyone here is too polite on the road. Like,
Really?
you will get into situations where, say, there's construction going on. Every single person that I can't call swear words will let every single other person in. Like, you'll pull up to the construction zone, the guy
Oh,
in
yeah,
front of
yeah.
you will let the next car in. And
Ooh.
he'll be like, okay, buddy, let's go. We've been waiting. And he'll let the next car. That car will let 3 more cars in.
Well,
Light will turn green, and the entire lane of traffic will merge in.
well, see, that's weird. I'm used to, at least when I'm driving, I'm used to cutting people off, not because I know it's rude.
Yeah, go on.
I know it's rude.
Oh, wait,
And
let me cut you off there.
okay, weird. Okay, so
No,
basically,
that was a joke.
I know.
People
But
off.
basically, like, you have to cut people off. At least where I'm from and where I am right now, it's not too different for where I'm right now. It's not too different for where I was from, because you have to cut people off, or else they'll just keep going. You have like turn light to say like, hey, I need to go to the right lane because I need to turn right, and you put on the blinker to let people know, hey, I need to turn right, and they just speed. They just keep going. They're like, no, you can't. I am priority. I will keep going. So if you don't cut
That's
them,
how it is in the big city here as well. In
yes. Well, in Puerto Rico, it's like that no matter where you go. So that's like, oh, that's why I said it's kind of like a free for all, because no matter where
I
you
can't
are.
decide which one I prefer, honestly.
I mean, once in a while you get a nice person that'll let you pass, and sometimes, I'll let people pass and be a nice person, but usually I'm kind of used, even in the countryside in Puerto Rico, you kind of have to cut people off or else you're stuck. So I'm kind of used to it now.
I don't know which one I would rather, though, because on the one hand, you've constantly got all these butt munchers driving around like they own the damn place.
Yeah.
You can't get a tire in edgewise, but then on the other hand, you'll come to situations like happen literally every time I drive down here,
Yeah.
where it's basically the old scenario where you're walking towards someone in a hallway, and then you do that little hallway dance where neither of them are sure which one should go to which side.
Yeah.
Every time I drive, that happens, where they'll be like, oh no, you go. Oh no, you go. Okay, thanks. And you'll start going, but then they'll start going, so you're like, oh, stop. Okay,
I
no,
hate
haha,
that.
yeah, you go. Oh
I
no,
hate
you
that.
go.
What about you, Furry? Like, what would you say traffic is like in your country?
Definitely compared
It
to.
says as he's driving. I heard the motor.
Well, okay.
It's very light today. It seems like there's gonna be slight precipitation.
There is a.
Wait, hold up. Furry. I need to turn you up because you're really low. Okay, now, what would you say traffic is like in your country?
Alright, is it better now?
A little bit.
Okay, so one of the common stereotype is that the driver, Malaysian drivers that you should be aware of. I wouldn't say afraid. You just should be aware of is drivers from Kuala Lumpur and Penang.
Oh, okay.
Because despite here in Penang that usually is not as fast. Like right now, normally I would drive around like 60 kilometers per hour, and that was like even in the highway, which drives at most that I've got the fastest that I've been to is 110 kilometers per hour.
Jeez.
So yeah, this is like at most.
Yeah.
So the traffic here is is calm, but I wouldn't say that it's smooth. It's just calm compared to others that are more hectic and more busy areas.
Also, I need to mention this. You drive on
Yeah.
you drive on the right chair, like the wheel
Yes,
is on the right
yes, I
side.
was just about to say our cars are is on the right. It's on the right hand side, and our
You mean the wrong side?
left side. Left side.
Yeah. That's gotta be so mind-boggling to like see a movie where the car. I mean, I personally look at a movie where you're in like England or somewhere in Europe and you have the wheel on the right side, and it's just so mind-boggling to me.
Why is that even the case?
I don't know. Some countries just said, "Oh, you know what? Let's do it the other way."
In
It's not,
Malaysia and in Puerto Rico, are there like large interstate sort of highways, like 6-lane, 70-mile-an-hour,
You're
110
asking.
kilometer per
You're
hour?
asking.
not in Penang. Not in Penang. So far, at most I see is like 4 lanes, which once again is because we're in the island, and the land size is limited.
You're
They
asking a
are-
Puerto Rican whether
they-
or not there's an interstate in our tiny island.
I know you're not gonna have interstates, but I meant like interstate style roads, you dangus.
What else? Oh yeah, and also you mentioning about cutting lanes, overtaking vehicles. Yeah, that you should expect that quite pretty common here in Penang as well. But for me, most of the time I do sometimes just keep well communicated with our driver to saying that if I wanted to overtake you or if I wanted to give lane, I would usually put like my directional lights or using highlights to indicate that okay, I wanted to pass you. Could you please move to the other lane? But there are some very special persons that think they're driving an
Those people are
airplane.
called road hogs.
That believe that they're driving an airplane. We usually call them airplane pilots, quote unquote airplane pilots, by driving in the middle of 2 lanes.
That is a very quick way to get run off the road in the States. You go driving down the middle of an interstate, driving down the dotted line, someone's gonna get next to you and push you in the ditch.
Yeah, same in Puerto Rico. And no, in Puerto Rico you got a mountain, so you better be careful. You're going the long
It's
way
a
down.
very big ditch.
Yeah, you're going the long way
And
down.
then there is oh boy, there is what we call them freaking turtles.
Huh, that actually doesn't sound too
Like,
wrong.
they-
Like they drive slow, right?
Like I kid you not, there is actually one driver. When you see that license plate, it's like everyone knows this car. When you see that car plate, it's like, okay, yeah, this is under the turtle blacklist.
Okay,
So
sounds
if
like
in
you got a new
Malaysia-
stereotypes video.
But he
Yeah.
If in Malaysia there are no like huge interstate highways, where do you go when you want to drive like 160 kilometers an hour?
106 kilometers. Definitely, I believe it's the North-South Expressway.
So yes, you do have like a long interstate and quote unquote.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, this is basically the main interstate.
Yeah.
And then what? Other than that, either that or the Grand Prix.
Oh, the Grand Prix. Oh gosh.
Are you
Sounds-
making a joke at me? What about in Puerto Rico? Where do y'all go
Yeah.
when you want to drive
Oh, sorry.
100
Before
miles an hour?
I answer that question, actually,
Just drive through the
Toxics-
forest at 100 miles per hour.
Oh gosh, no. So Toxic Sor had said, in New Mexico we call drivers idiots. Okay.
Yeah, I think in Malaysia they're a lot more polite than we are in the States, because we sure as hell aren't going to just call someone a turtle slow. We've got more colorful words for that.
But the thing is, basically, in Puerto Rico we have a cross island road called the PR-22, and that's actually like, if you say PR-22, you're going like across the island. Like you mean like you're going from one side to the other side, lengthwise usually. And it is the thing is, in Puerto Rico we usually have our roads by number. So if you say, like, you tell someone, oh yeah, just go down the 2 or 22 or road 17 or something, they know exactly where they are. Like they know exactly where they're going, and it's usually one direction. But usually,
So if you wanted to go 100, you'd hop on the 22?
basically, yeah, usually, sometimes, but
Love the
usually,
occasional cutting in of the wind rushing past Furry's car.
Yeah.
It's just butting in.
yeah. But basically, but basically,
It's really funny.
There's no real road where there's no real hold up 1 second, sorry. There's no real road where you would say you go 100 miles per hour, because that's usually there's no place to go 100 miles per hour. It's not permitted in Puerto Rico.
Oh,
Yeah.
so sad. I mean, it's not permitted here either, but
I mean,
do it.
it's not permitted, but we do it anyway.
I can get from one side of my state to the other in about 30 minutes on a good day.
No, I wouldn't say you could do that here though. At least not to the best of my knowledge. Yeah.
Just hop on the interstate, look for a Corvette or a Mercedes that's already going 110, and just tuck in behind them the whole way.
Yeah, that's true.
Then all the traffic speeds up with them, so you've got this convoy of like 13, 14 cars all going 100, 110 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Cops can't stop us all, boys.
They can't.
I just saw like a weird car that was like.
They
it was
can't
like
take all of us.
It was supposed to be like a. It was like, like a tiny car, but it was like really. Big. You could attach like an SUV attachment to the back of it, and
Yeah.
it become an SUV that carried multiple people.
Yeah.
Only every car that one of those cars could contact each other like via its own little network thing
Oh,
and
that's.
connect to each other, driving down the highway as like a giant centipede of cars.
Centipede. Oh gosh, yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And it could
seems
do
really cool.
360-degree turns. Didn't have to back up. Its wheels could turn circular, and you could go in a circle for hours until the gas ran out.
Yeah, I know
I
exactly.
hate that car.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about though. Yeah, I know what you mean. But basically, it's an interesting topic, cultural differences. There's a lot to tackle, and I mean, we might even do a two-parter, because I mean, we're already an hour-half mark, and we barely covered anything.
Definitely, you would definitely have to get other people that are not from the U.S.
No, but it was
or-
an interesting aspect, because even in the U.S. is so big that even two Americans can be completely different from one another in terms of
like Minnesota
culture.
people can speak with the weirdest accent on earth, and people from Alabama can speak perfectly fine.
How very dare you? I'm from both of those states.
I said Minnesota.
No, but it is
My
definitely
family's from Minnesota, and I've lived in Alabama.
no, but it is definitely a very interesting topic, and we might do a two-parter. This might be one of the first subjects we do a two-parter, because it's just such a big topic to unload. So yeah, definitely look out for part 2 of this. And if any of you in the chat would like to join Discord, and feel free to touch the subject of your country, please let us know below.
Oh, hold up.
Yeah.
There's like a extremely long text.
Yeah, I'm
on,
sorry.
but
We're
in
gonna
my
have
toxic
we're
spot.
gonna have to remove that. I just can't right now. I don't know why I don't have the
Okay.
controls, but please, to everyone in the chat, please do not spam that. We do not want to spam right now. Please keep your messages short if possible. Thank you. Basically, yeah, but we're gonna have to do it with other speakers. So if you're watching and you would like to be in part 2 as of this video's date, or if you're watching on YouTube, it's probably too late. Sorry, but please let us know, and we'll definitely see if we can make a part 2. But other than that, I would like to thank Bama Barov, Squeevers, and our special guest, the Good Pupper, otherwise known as Furry Scout, for joining us today. And thanks to all of you for watching. Hopefully you had a lot of fun, and if you have any suggestions for next week's topic, please leave in the comments down below. Other than that, I hope you have fun and have a good night. Please do not
If
go-
anything happens to us, we'll let you know.
Yes. Right now, I'm going to send all of you on a raid to a great art channel called Tambry Art. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed her art stream. And she's actually...
Boys, it's time for a crusade.
Yes, we shall raid her now. In 3, we're going to raid her with 5 viewers. Is it going?
I honestly
Oh,
probably
5,
might not, 'cause
4,
I gotta
3,
get back to other.
2, 1, and
Come
goodbye,
on, let's not do
everyone.
it.